Dumelang Bagaetso, welcome to Bagaetso Follow Your Bliss. This is the second episode of my YouTube blog, which I'm still so grateful to have. So today we're going to discuss, a little bit of what I hinted in my last video, which is what are you inspired to do? Okay, and this seemed appealing to me to discuss earlier because I have been inspired to do so many things which in the last year I have attempted to go after, in the name of following my bliss. And in my last video I mentioned, something to the effect of you not knowing how many days you have in this world. And a part of me has taken a bit of a while to kind of discuss this topic because I think when you've got to speak about one thing, but then you're just like, I know, man, there must be something else that I can discuss, but it's like, no, this is it, this is the topic, this is the moment, and this is what you got, and I think my gut is I often look at my gut as the voice of God. I think God speaks to us through our guts, and I think for me, I've been inspired to do so many things, and for the longest time I played myself small, because I was scared. The underlying factor that generally hinders people from actually going after their bliss is fear. So I actually started going after what I wanted in full effect, full blown, without just going after what I wanted unapologetically, was after the 20th of May 2016. Okay, so on the 20th of May 2016, I experienced an incident that would change my life. This event really has shaped the last year for me. And so on the 20th of May, I was on my way from work, and I had said goodbye to my friends, and prior to saying goodbye to my friends, I was on a call with a friend of mine for a bit, and we were discussing passions and just the next step, and he was so stoked about just the plans that I had for my life, and he really encouraged me to go after them. He sent me material. He was like, this stuff is gonna help you, so just delve into it, consume it, and let it move you into the direction that you want to take. And I was like, okay, cool, sure, it's great, it's gonna be helpful. Hey guys, then I leave work. I'm like, bye friends. I leave work, and I haven't spoken to a lot of people about this, so this is very personal, and it's something that has driven me for, like I said, the last year. Anyway, guys, I'm on my way from work and I'm driving to my apartment. Okay, so this is a road that I know clearly. I drive through this path every morning when I'm going to work, and every evening when I go back home. Hey my daughter, I'm driving. All of a sudden, guys, like in the midst of trying to avoid a curb, right, I literally sway my steering wheel all the way to the right, and in an instant my car turns from going straight to the opposite direction. Okay, and in that moment, it all happened so quickly, so I'm literally trying to get my car back on the road, but like this car is just not going back on the road. So I can see it's turning right, but I'm like, hey, let me try get it back straight, and my car is not going straight. So in that moment I'm like, well, okay, this car is going its own direction. I'm trying to get it back on the road, but it's going its own direction. And I'm like, well, with below, you have to let go, you know, because the car's not going in the direction that you want it to go. So I'm like, what? I just have to let go of the car then to go in its own direction. Car goes further down to the right, it starts going off the road, and in a few seconds it goes from going off the road to flipping and rolling over. Literally, as I'm like, because it happened so fast, I've let go now of the car, and within that moment I'm like, I'm gonna meet my creator. Like, I'm done. You know, I'm like, this is the day where actually, like, everything comes to an end. My life is over. And in the moment, like, it was so automatic. I just surrendered my life to God. I was like, I'm meeting my creator. I'm done. And ooh, the emotions, guys, they antwara. In English direct translation, the emotions are holding me. They are, you know, they are taking a hold of my body. They're taking a hold of my body. I told you guys I'm a clown. But so in that moment, I'm like, well, okay, I'm dying. I have to surrender my life to God. And in that moment, I surrender my life to God. And there's this overwhelming peace that just, you know, comes like through my body. And in that moment, I'm like, okay. So the one thing that I had been scared of my whole life, which is death, is like, you know, right in my face. And in that moment, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm okay. Like, I'm dying, I'm okay. While the car is rolling, I lose consciousness. Okay, so I lose consciousness, and all of a sudden, like, my eyes open and I wake up, and my car is upside down. So I'm literally hanging from the roof of my car upside down. And I don't know how many of you guys have watched like movies where cars start burning once they overturn. And in my mind, like, literally, I can just see a picture of my car bursting into flames. So I guess when the car was like going in its own direction, like, I was really clinging to my teeth, like, oh, you know. So I'm trying to scream, like, for help, for somebody to let me out, and I literally can't get a voice out of like my mouth, and I'm literally going, so I start banging on the window with my knuckles. I'm like, somebody let me out. Well, I didn't say somebody let me out, but I was like, and this man comes out, and he pulls me out of the car, and he lays me on the floor. I'm shaking. It's like adrenaline. He lays me on the floor, so I'm like at a distance. I'm looking at my car. I'm like, I can't fathom, you know, I was in the car. And so at this point, I'm trying to dial my parents, and eventually I get a hold of them, but they can't find me. Okay, so, you know, thank goodness the technology. I just send them my location, and but I was like, so it clicks to me. I remember, like, a snippet comes in my head. I'm like, I was just with my friends. Okay, I dropped the picture of the car in the group, and I dropped my location, and everybody's just like, what on earth? Okay, so I leave my phone. I'm lying there. I'm like, it, like, literally, that scene went from 0 to 100. One moment, it's just me and this man who's helped pull me out of the car, and then the next thing, it's like, it's a full-blown accident scene. Cars everywhere, ambulances, policemen, my friends. My friends rock up in pajamas, and this makes me realize what actually I must have been on the scene by myself for a while. Like, I must have been in there for a while, because I said bye to them a long time ago, and here they are showing up in pajamas. And like, my previous apartment wasn't that far from my office. So, it was clear to me that I was there on the scene by myself for a while. Um, and cool, so everything happens like procedurally, police statements, hospital checks, blah blah blah. Like, I'm fine physically. The only thing that was really wrong with me was like whiplash, okay, physically. But something happened in that moment that changed my life for forever. The following day, so I stayed with my parents for a bit. The following day, um, I'm at home, and because I was really, really messed up in the head. For me, I had surrendered, I was ready to be gone, and yet I was still alive. Okay, and I didn't understand why this this really, really messed with me. I didn't understand why I was alive, and so I started questioning everything. Um, anyway, I'm still confused. So the following day, I go to church, and I'm at this point. I just don't. I don't understand why I'm still alive. And so the sermon on the day was talking about miracles. Okay, and in my mind, I think I always thought I believed in miracles, but I had never actually seen one. And so, and in that moment, I realized that me sitting in church on that day was a miracle. And that got me, but it wasn't the thing that made me go like, oh my gosh, I need to do something different with my life. Um, so the sermon ended, church was over. At the end of the service, there was an altar call, okay, and I was like, I just wanted to stay for the music in the end. I didn't really want to go um, up front or whatever to be prayerful. I just felt like I wasn't ready to leave. And the song that I had never heard before played. Um, and the song just had so much power. I remember like just feeling tears coming down my cheeks, down my eyes, guys. Yeah, so tears, ne. I remember just feeling them dropping, and basically this changed like the trajectory of my life. This is what the song said: every step I take, Lord, light my way, and when I cannot see, I will still obey. Though mountains walk into the sea, I know you walk in front of me, unshakable. 'Cause I don't know if I can, but I know you, the one who overcame death, left it subdued. I fix my eyes upon you to guide me through. Um, yeah. And this had an impact in my life because it's just this part that says, I don't know if I can, but I know you, the one who overcame death, left it subdued. Because in that moment, like, I feel like God intervened and death was overcome, right? And I wasn't sure about the next thing, but I knew that I would be okay because of what had just happened, right? And um, basically this filled me with the greatest confidence to go after anything and everything that I wanted to pursue in my life, because I knew that even if I couldn't, I would get strength from someone else, okay? And this just filled me with confidence. I know it can be different things for different people, but for me, this really, really spoke to me. And I remember I was back in my apartment a week later, and I'm a visual person. I like putting things down. If I want this, I like writing it, putting it on my wall. Like that's just kind of that's the person that I am. And at the time, I had Bali on my wall. I had China on my wall. I had France on my wall, and I had never traveled by myself. Okay, so these were things that I wanted to do with people, but had never really quite gotten the opportunity to. Or if other people couldn't make it and I wanted to, or I could, I just I just wouldn't go by myself. I just wouldn't do it because I was waiting for other people, or just I always had an excuse basically. Wait, guys, I remember getting into my apartment, looking, and these were not just the only things. Obviously, travel, but like there were also like really, there were other goals that I had besides travel on my wall. Hey guys, I remember getting to my apartment and being like, Bibelo, you almost died, and none of these things have been ticked off. Why? Hey, reflective process, okay, guys. And I was like, okay, let me be honest with myself. The underlying reason is fear. Okay, so I was like, okay, break it down, baby girl. Like, and the truth for me was fear of what people would say about me if I ever tried and I failed. Okay, and I was listening to myself and I thought to myself, okay, but Bibelo, if you had to try, or if you had tried some things, didn't achieve them, tried some things, achieved some, but not you didn't really go after everything that you wanted. What would people have said? I was like, okay, people would have said, oh, she was great, good friend, good sister, good daughter, good whatever, relationships wise, good. And hey, she did things, nyana, here and there. She had potential. Okay, that was the word that got me. She had potential. She could have done more. And I was like, okay, so what if I had tried at everything and I failed at everything? Okay, so switch the narrative from trying but not really trying to literally full blown trying and never succeeding at anything. What would people have said? Oh, by far the narrative would have been different. Okay, I would have been a person who wasn't timid. I would have been a person who just had a passion for da 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 da, and I would have been a person who actually lived her life like it was a lost, and inspired people and had a spirit of resilience, and just so many good things came to me in that moment. And I had an aha moment. I thought to myself, well, if that's the case, then why would you ever be scared of people's opinion? If you had to fail, people's opinion while you're alive, when it's bound to change when you die. I need you to get that. Why would I ever base my actions on people's opinion while I'm alive when it's going to change when I die? Do you get that? So if I tried at anything, like no one would have been at my funeral, sorry, being like, oh, hey, wait till she tried but she failed. Yeah, she tried to open that business, and yeah, well, she tried to. And even if they said that, nah, the truth is it would still serve as inspiration. No one would speak about you in a negative light. Oh, akila zama afe. No, baby girl, no, baby boy. No, like, do you know what I mean? But anyway, so this was life changing for me. And in that moment, I decided that I wasn't going to be afraid. In that moment, I knew that even if I failed while I was alive, it was going to be okay at the end of my life, because those are the things that are not going to matter. Listen, when it all comes down to it, those things don't matter. Failure doesn't matter when it comes down to it. You only celebrate like what was good. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I looked at that board and I was like, Bella, why have you never traveled by yourself? I hear you making excuses and hey, people can't come with you. Hey, this, you escape. Why? And I was like, fear, baby girl. And there I was with my laptop. And I booked the trip. And I went to Bali by myself. I took my first solo trip. And it was absolutely life-changing. I met people who were on the same journey as me, who wanted something bigger and greater out of life and something more meaningful out of life. And just every person I spoke to, it was like I was having a conversation with God. These people had been put within my path in order to help me realize that I needed to align my life with certain goals and values and go in a different direction. And it was amazing. And that became like, it was like something's like a pa inside of you. It was like, I had opened up. I had become more open to exploring different sides of me, like photography and something that I had been uncomfortable with before. And it's been phenomenal. And funny enough, I was looking at the same goal board. I did India, which wasn't on the goal board, but somehow I ended up in India for a month doing yoga training last year. And after India, I went back home for a bit and South Africa, and I see China on my goal board. And I went home after India, and I realized that literally I'm looking at this goal board after India, and I'm like, this is crazy, because I'm moving to China in 2 months. Like, how? Right? So the power of visualization is so real. Like, just you putting things into the universe and saying, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to work towards, and I will get it. It's so powerful, because like the universe really does like work for you good. It does collect all energies to work for your good once you put it out there. And now I'm living in China, and I'm living a life that I'm passionate about. I am much happier, and my happiness doesn't depend on things. It's literally like, it comes from within, and it's something that I've had to work on in the last year because things can be taken away from you, and if you place your happiness on things, then it means your happiness, and it's a state of joy. It means it's dependent on factors. So as and when things come into your life, you're happy. When they get taken away, you're sad. Which one should never ever like have to go through. It could be anything, like really small, like what are you inspired to do, and what are you going to learn from other people's journeys and stories, which is going to allow you to make that change today and say, today's the day that I want a different life. Today's the day that I'm going to have a different life, and I'm choosing to have a different life, Like I said, this video is about my people behind, so just follow your bliss, like whatever it is, say today's the day, and just go after what you want, because you don't know how many days you have. I don't know what you guys are passionate to do or what you want to do in life, but whatever it is, just go for it. Try. It'll work out, and even if it doesn't work out, then you're gonna grow and you're going to develop, and anyway, like, you'll just be that much closer to the thing that you actually are supposed to be doing ultimately. So I hope my sharing has kind of inspired you and helped you, I don't know, in some way. And yeah, stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe if you have been through a similar situation, or just even if, like, the thing is, like, it's always better if more people are talking about this stuff, because then everybody realizes that, like, oh my goodness, I'm not alone, right? So just share, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get this message across to Bahaitu. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I assume this was long, but thank you for tuning in nonetheless and having a listen. Yeah, I'm signing out. Bahaitu. Follow your bliss.